Okay, here we'll reiterate what we saw in our previous video, adding an important technical detail which completes the full picture. Expenses should be recognized in the P&L in the same period as revenues to which they relate. Remember that one criteria for revenue recognition was being able to tell what expenses have been sustained to produce the product or service being sold. Well, once we know that and we register revenues in a period, we must register the respective costs in the same period too. This is known as the matching principle. I am sure some of you are already thinking certain types of expenses are more difficult to associate with revenue generation. Operating expenses such as accounting, admin personnel, and rent for office buildings are not directly tied with the sales the company makes. Yes, these are costs that help the company create value, but are not directly attributable to the product it sells. Right, and when do we recognize these expenses? Is there a rule that tells us when we should do that? There is. Otherwise, we'll be able to postpone the recognition of these costs forever. These expenses are designated as period costs and are charged to expense in the period they are sustained. Let's provide a practical example. Think of a restaurant that sells high-end meat. Their chef buys some of the meat 6 months in advance and prepares it in a special way before selling steaks to customers. The restaurant owners pay monthly rent and accounting costs. So, when should these expenses be registered? Well, the restaurant should register the meat as an expense when sold as a steak to customers, right? It is a cost directly relatable to the revenue the firm generates. And given that rent and accounting costs are not directly attributable to any particular steak being eaten by customers, they will be expensed in the same period when they are sustained. Accounting and rent for November are registered in November. Accounting and rent for December go into December. Accounting and rent for January go into January, and so on and so forth. This is how we recognize revenues and costs in the P&L. The important thing is to understand the distinction between product and period costs. Thanks for watching.